Good morning, good evening, and wherever the sun may find you. My name is Walt. This is Coffee and Concepts with Keystroke Medium. So, if you haven't been here before, what is Coffee and Concepts? We talk about coffee and then we pick a publishing topic or a reading topic or a writing topic, and we take a few minutes and just talk about it. Just a quick blurb to brighten up your day, maybe get things going, give you an introduction to coffees you might not have seen before, might not have tried, and occasionally have a guest on, talk about some stuff. Well, this morning, I thought we might tie one on, as in Thailand, and see what I did there, right? Cool. Um, it's not just for stuff like Muay Thai boxing, which a lot of us are big fans of, or cool food. Um, Great nightlife, lots of fun if you've ever been. That's not the only thing. There's also coffee to consider. And oh my God, is there coffee something interesting? So we're going to be talking about a Thai iced coffee, which is very similar to the Vietnamese coffee we talked about last week. It's prepared a little differently. So let's get to it. So in a Thai coffee, it's prepared like a lot of other coffees in that first what's going to happen is you have to obviously brew the coffee. It's usually a medium to dark roast coffee. It's finely ground because they use like a stainless steel big pouring container usually. And what they're going to do is they're going to take sometimes a cloth coffee filter, which is going to be a little thicker than your paper stuff, but you can use the paper if you need to in a pinch. And you're going to pour yourself, put enough coffee, 3 to 4 tablespoons in there for about a 8 to 10 ounce cup of coffee. And you're going to pour boiling hot water over it into the filter and let the easiest way a lot of the vendors do it is they'll let it steep for a few minutes. Some people will actually pour out the hot coffee into another container, put the coffee filter with the already run through grounds in it back in the original container, and then pour again. So they might do that 3 or 4 times, but mostly in the United States, when you find it, it's usually done where they put it through the coffee filter and they just let that cloth coffee filter or the paper, if it's thick enough and can handle it, sit and steep in that hot water for 3 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. And after that, what's going to happen is you're going to get some condensed milk. Really cool to leave it out for a little bit so that it's not chunky and hard to deal with. Condensed milk, about a eighth of a cup, quarter of a cup. Throw that into. So you're going to take the grinds out, throw the coffee, the condensed milk in the coffee, and then stir it up so it's all nicely finely done. Couple tablespoons of sugar. I've heard people talk about adding salt, that it brings out the sweet to the coffee. Your taste may vary. Give it a try. See what you think, both with or without. Then what's going to happen is once you have this all set up, this coffee's still warm. So you're going to get a nice big glass, fill it with ice, because once again, the coffee's warm, so some of that ice might bleed out a little bit or melt a little bit because of the coffee going in it. You're going to pour that over ice, nice big thing, and then take some evaporated milk, pour it over the top. Less creamy, just enough to cover the surface of the top ice. More creamy, get it so that it floats to about the middle of the glass. And if you use a translucent glass, it's going to be a little easier to get going. It's usually pretty sweet, but you get the coffee flavor going, and it's going to get really nice treat to have on a warm day. So that is a Thai coffee done in lickety split. And I'm hoping that we can get some guests on here and try some of these coffees live, which would be really a lot of fun. But now talking to our concept. So somebody asks, "Hey man, do you read novels and stuff?" And they look at you, and you look at your buddy, and you say, "Yes, I love zombie romance stories, and that's all I read." And of course, you're going to get the hairy eyeball looks because. Diversity, spice of life, you might have heard of it. However, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But say they recommend a book and they keep talking about it, but it's not necessarily in the genre that you like. So you decide to try a new genre. This happened recently, about 6 to 8 months ago, when hello, William Joseph Roberts. Morning, big man. You wouldn't say that if you saw me. I'm kind of a small. So, good morning, sir. And of course, we have the dog drinking water in the background because that's what he does, right? Right. So, they keep talking about this book, and you're like, man, it's just not in the genre I normally read because, zombie romance. However, they start talking about this like space marine thing and all the armor, and this particular one has zombies, so it's kind of in your wheelhouse, but you don't really know. And like I said, a few months ago, I had something very similar happen. I don't normally read Westerns, although I love Western movies. Love Clint Eastwood stuff. There's a Lee Van Cleef. There's a lot of cool like spaghetti Westerns out there. Absolutely enjoy from my childhood. Still enjoy watching those when I get an occasion to. But they were like, oh, you got to read this. It's called Make Me No Grave. I like Deadlands as a role-playing game, so I was like, why not? Let's try it out. It was good. It was really good. A lot of fun. Interesting twists on the wild, weird West. So interesting, but not really something I could see myself going and getting all the time. So, of course, I start reaching out. I'm like, hey, you guys got any other good Westerns I might be interested in? And you have people who start recommending stuff. So here are some tricks and tips. If you've dipped your toe in another genre you don't normally read, and you want to check out William Joseph Roberts saying, the Walt Longmire series is a good example. Never would have went that direction of a cop mystery genre. Then I tried it and was hooked. Yes. And the TV series is a lot of fun too. I really like the actor. I thought he did a pretty fantastic job. But say you want to dip your toe into another genre and you might not have like a real avenue of where to go. Here's a couple of tips and tricks, English, that might get you going. Number one, if you're going to try a new genre, try something that is close to or similar to something you already enjoy reading, and kind of ease yourself into it. It's kind of like you dip your toe into the pool to see if it's the right temperature, or you're going to freeze your pants off when you get into the pool. The same can be said for investigating a new genre. You like space marine or space opera, where adventure is key, but your significant other has been bugging you to try that cozy romance. Do a space opera romance first. Kind of work your way into it. Do you like action and adventure, but somebody has recommended that horror element? Grab something that has both horror and action adventure all tied into the same thing, kind of like a Marvel Comics Blade or something like that. So that's one avenue to approach things. Number two, make sure, let's see, we have William Joseph Roberts saying the books are so much better, and George Goodall narrating is just icing on the cake. Oh, cool. Maybe I'll check out some of those narrations. Thank you, William Joseph Roberts. So, number two, check the reviews. Check to see whether or not other people who enjoy that particular genre are enjoying the one that you're looking at reading. It might save you some heartache in the long run. Might give you might also give you some of the characteristics that are traditionally in the genre that you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at pet detective stories where, the pets all solve the crimes, and you're not into those books normally, check out those reviews, see what kind of works for people, what doesn't work for people, and how it ends up in the end with their star rating, as well as what they enjoyed and didn't. Last but not least, see if any of your friends or colleagues have read any of these books in this genre. If you enjoy hulking barbarian stories and you've decided to check out the Murder Wives Club series of novels, find somebody who's read them and actually talk to somebody and say, hey, what did you like? Not as succinct as a review. You also might get a something more targeted to you, because this is a person who actually knows you and can give you a little bit of insight as to whether or not your personality would mesh with these kind of books. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it for today. Don't forget to check out Josh, Chuck, and Scott on Mondays, where 11 a.m. Eastern time, I believe they are rocking and rolling the live roundtables, as well as occasional guests. And then you have, of course, Coffee and Concepts, 7:30 a.m. on Tuesdays. Normally, we had a scheduling conflict this week, so that's why we're a little off center. And then Thursday nights with Lauren and Kayleen on the Writer's Journey, talking about all facets of getting into the act of writing. And Josh Gayu on the YouTube channel doing his thing to promote long form interviews about different facets and different topics throughout the writing verse. We are on a mission, speaking of writing verse, we are on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you can, like and subscribe below, hit that button so that you can be the ding button so that you can be notified when we go live, and help us get to 1,000 subscribers so we can bring you even more content that is targeted to reading, writing, and a little bit more here on Keystroke Medium.